Now we look to the future and the inspiration to continue this amazing story. We have asked Kathy Nguyen to set the stage for our future with her vision of where we're going. Kathy is a frequent speaker and a daily volunteer for all things GAWP. There are a few that can rival her energy and enthusiasm for the water profession. Kathy works as a senior project manager for the Cobb County water system. And besides doing her job very well, she readily assists others with managing water loss, water conservation, customer education, communication, and achieving top-notch customer service. She truly loves the water profession and boldly expresses her appreciation in nearly every conversation she has. In the style of a forward-looking TED Talk, Kathy is going to share the GAWP version we call Wet Talk.
Great. Thanks, John. I really appreciate it. If somebody had asked me 16 years ago if my future would involve standing here talking to a room full of the very mentors who helped me get where I am in my career, I would have thought they were crazy. So this room is, in all seriousness, full of the mentors that have made my career. And I won't name all of you because I will forget someone's name or I will embarrass someone who doesn't want to be called out. And then I am also fully aware that some of you want to take no responsibility for anything I have ever done in this industry. So you're off the hook. I won't call you out. I do have some bad news, so gurus grip the table. I think the future of water is eliminating the phrase, the silent utility. So I think every challenge that we have, and I'm not going to talk about them all, but we know them, right? Infrastructure, rates and affordability, right? Brain drain. You're going to hear about the relaunch of H2 Opportunity tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you in this talk that H2 Opportunity succeeds when you own your story and you walk with that swagger that Dave talked about at the beginning. So let's talk about the future of water, and it's all about our story. So real quick, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. This is not our story, okay? But there are people who want to make this our story. NRDC, even WebMD has jumped into the game, right? Everybody thinks this is our story. This was a tragedy. This is not our story, right? Our story's far different. So look to your right and look to your left at the table. How lucky are you? You got seated next to a real-life community hero today. What are the odds with a room this size? And I know some of you are looking at that person and you're going, well, that's my coworker. She's crazy. I work with them. I know they're not a hero. Give me a minute and I'll give you a different perspective, I hope. Every day, you're doing this stuff. You're preserving and protecting the environment. I had a young engineer in our office tell me the other day that a friend of hers, when asked at a party what they do for a living, makes up stuff because they've told them before that they work in water and wastewater, and people are like, okay, and they walk away from them. Well, my first response was, well, I would chase after them and explain why that is so important. And then I thought, maybe let me just try to give them a better answer. So you preserve and protect the environment every day. You are the very foundation of your community. It literally is the lifeblood that runs underneath everything. Without you, there is no community. That means if it's urban or suburban or rural, you are what makes it happen. The differentiator between the haves and the have-nots in the world is you. That's what you do. You are directly responsible for economic prosperity, and yet you're scared to tell anyone what you do. You take a place from a geographic spot on a map to a home that lives in their heart. That's you. That's what you bring to the table every day. You are the reason kids can go to school, because they are not out finding water. Because a 13-year-old girl doesn't have to drop out of school because she doesn't have access to sanitation. You do that. You do that. You enable every great innovation that has happened. Try to send someone to the moon when you spend 6 hours a day collecting water that may or may not kill you. What did you do today? You saved 4,000 children from dying of waterborne disease. You enabled every medical innovation in this community, in this state. You did that today. You made food for people that were hungry. You enabled those that are thirsty to drink. That's what you did today. Try answering, what do I do? With I enabled people to go to the moon and then start to have a conversation about the value of water. You do all of this. And so I have a dream. Don't just walk down Savannah with swagger. Walk into every meeting. Walk into the grocery store and think, you're welcome. When you sit down at a meeting about that DOT project that's so flashy, you just sit down, quiet confidence, you're welcome. You think we'd be doing this if I wasn't here? You are right, no, you're welcome. You see people pick up an orange in the grocery store? You're welcome, I did that. You work in the greatest industry. Own that story. Tell people why you're welcome. Because without you, there's no story. You are the literal people that stand in the gap between the haves and the have-nots. This is a picture that hangs in my office. It is a depiction from the National Geographic Water Edition 7 years ago. It was done by a customer service manager of ours. He said, I never understood about the water industry until I talked to you. I actually had this out in a meeting. And I said, do you understand everything we're talking about is an absolute luxury? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, man, this is first world problems. And I slammed the edition open to a picture of citizens in India surrounding a well that had no water in it. And I said, do you want to know what you do? You stand in the gap. You stand in the gap. You are the reason they are not there. So on my best day, I look at that picture and I think to myself, man, I can't believe I get to do this. And on my worst day, on the day when I might be known to walk into the middle of our office and go, does no one want to thank us for providing them with safe sanitation and drinking water today? I look at that picture and I think, man, they just don't know. How lucky am I to get to do this every day? You need to tell that story. That's your story. Stand up, walk proud. And in case somebody hasn't told you, in case your citizens didn't call, in case your family doesn't greet you with awe and wonder when you get home every day, thank you. Thank you. And own it. Because our future is so bright, we gotta wear shades just as soon as you own it. Thank you.